Meanwhile, the people who actually do this work, where the safeguarding actually resides, are treated as though they wipe bottoms and chop carrots. We need trained, dedicated, committed staff. Instead, we build worker exploitation and a student visa culture of untrained labour into the very substrate of care. That workforce costs the country around $300 million a year in workers' compensation. I'm yet to see an NDIS plan that accounts for the weight of the participant and needing 2 support workers. On Safe Work Australia's own figures, healthcare and social assistance now carries the highest number of serious injury claims in the country. Nearly 30,000 a year, 1 in 5 nationally. Psychological injury is up 160% in a decade. Assaults have more than doubled since the turn of the century. And behind those numbers are women who are asked, the indignity support workers who are asked to use a she-we. And we send them in blind. We hide the information that keeps them safe and enables providers to do risk management. A young female support worker is sent alone into a home where a man is under a forensic order or has a history of sexual offending. Not all the time the provider or the support worker knows. And told nothing about what she's walking into. That's not privacy. That's a safety failure waiting to become a headline. And there is no training to recognise serious mental illness, no way to identify it, no idea what to do when it presents. Ask the mental health triage lines now swamped with NDIS calls. What happens when you put untrained staff in front of acute illness? So let me say this plainly to anyone who frames NDIS cuts as a saving. You have no right to call it a saving. When you are not removing the cost, you are only moving it. Cut a person's support and they do not obediently stop needing care. They surface in the emergency department, on the ambulance ramp, in the mental health unit, in the justice system, in child protection, in homelessness. And most of these are the state's cost. That is not fiscal responsibility. It's detonating the bill in someone else's budget and calling the crater a surplus. And there is no saving when the system manufactures the very cost it complains about. Poor care does not simply fail a person, it makes them more disabled. They cost more. Undiagnosed conditions, pressure sores, over-medication, infections, the slow harm of neglect, each one anew. Often permanent comorbidity laid on top of the original disability. Their needs grow, their funding grows, and then that growth is held up as proof they were high cost all along. You'll never cut your way out of rising costs that the scheme is causing. So name the fixes plainly. Run some sort of a medical model alongside the human rights model so we can acknowledge the needs. Not instead of it, but make handover mandatory. Make sure providers are able to do the risk management. Give providers the information they need to risk manage. Require that the person at the door is qualified, screened and known. We had this big to-do with all the childcare centres, but we don't have with non-verbal children in homes where there's not the supervision of a childcare centre. Write a capacity law worth the name and turn the accountability back into the agency and the commission that designed this. Not only onto the providers, the workers, the participants and the families holding it together at the edges. Because here is what should trouble this parliament most. We have reviewed everyone, but the people responsible for the mess. A royal commission, a review, inquiries into providers, workers, participants, but no serious scrutiny of the architects. And nothing about us without us has quietly become nothing about us without some of us. Never all of us. Yes. The quietest people...
Sorry, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The quietest people, the ones without the capacity to advocate, vanished from the conversation entirely. To the support staff who work tirelessly and donate their own time, I see you. To the mums and dads and spouses who support unsupported, I see you. To the providers who sacrifice their livelihoods to fill the reality gap, and subsidise the government, hang in there. You are my faith in humanity, all of you. And to the participants who live in fear, I see you too. And I will leave you with what I have come to believe. After all of it, the systems are worse than the people. The institutions are crueler than the individuals who staff them. Cruelty is almost always systemic before it is individual. And what stands out across all of it is the gap between what people are capable of and what their structures allow, which means the work of fixing this is not done at the level of individual virtue, not the worker, not the family, not the provider doing their best. It is done at the level of structure and at the level of architecture. It is time for the system and the administrative triad to be held accountable for their incompetence and maladministration. And let me be clear, I do not ask for anything I do not already give. Canberra is a registered provider. I am audited, I am scrutinised, I am on the front line, and I pay with my body too. I have already stood in that queue. So to the Parliament that will demand competence, handover, accountability and humility from a broken sector, I say only what I have said before, by all means, but you first, mate.